right, roster news continues on with Apex Legends, and some even leaning towards retirement. What in the world's going on inside of the world of Apex Legends esports, and what is going on with SKD Mark, Skid Mark, and Coach Raven? Of course, a lot to dive into. Like and subscribe. Firstly, wanted to make mention of this because it really sets the stage for a lot of what we have to talk about today. So scrim results, we had 2 blocks, Dark Zero, Space Station, the 2 super teams getting top 2. I think this was expected, right? This should have happened for the last week or so. Of course, we've had instances where SSG hasn't been so super, Dark Zero hasn't been so super. Someone had actually commented yesterday, I'm surprised Jay didn't talk about Dark Zero scrim placements, and honestly, I wasn't even purposely dodging it. I actually just didn't see it and didn't even think to talk about it. But yeah, hey, I've made that idea. I've put that notion out there that I do think Dark Zero will be consistent. I think they'll be good. I just don't think they're going to be worth whatever dollar amount they're probably putting out there right now, because how dominant can you be? How good can you actually be at the game? How super of a team can you actually make and actually see those results? I think that Hal obviously is great, Zero's great, Jen Burton's great, but I don't think that there's honestly a possibility in Apex right now of any given player. I don't think you can build a super roster on the level that is so super that you will just get decimation and domination in every single tournament. I think you can build really good, consistent teams right now, but I do honestly, this will be probably, I know people will disagree with me, but I think there are IGLs out there that can hang just fine enough. There's fraggers that can hang just fine enough to keep up with Jid Burton, to keep up with Hal, and I don't think that you're going to see that, crazy disregard of all the other teams. I think that Dark Zero will get their fair share of wins. Nonetheless, Elevate, I think this is a big one. Of course, we've been making mention of this, and even yesterday we talked about Zapto obviously looking at the TSM deal. We even had the situation, of course, with things not going so well with Knoqd moving in a different direction. What's going on with Elevate? Well, so Zach was playing with his new team with Slayer and Lux, and obviously we made mention of this yesterday. I think the guys have a lot of slaying power. They have a lot of potential, but will they bring those results? Well, very good placement from them in yesterday's scrim results. Top 3 is definitely good. Now, so here's where another tip of the hat comes through, because I got to give my, credit due here for Stallions. These guys are definitely underrated. A lot of people are not thinking Stallions is going to be a long-term solution to Alberlelli's career. I think Alberlelli has really found his sweet spot here, and I'm happy that he's found a good team to play with as well. So Stallions in the top 5, very solid, and I'm happy with this as well. Then you go over to the second block scrim results. Stallions winning the scrim set is definitely something that I don't think many people had on their prediction cards here. Stallions in first place, congrats to them. Very happy for Retzi, Alberlelli, and co. Then you got Tripods in second, and listen to this, Skidmark in third. Now, Skidmark is a very, very important roster to make mention of here, because if you haven't seen this already, this is dropped, Knoqd, and Shooby. So of course things didn't go too well with Knoqd and E8. Knoqd decided he's got something better planned here. Knoqd goes back to play with Dropped. So Knoqd and Dropped playing together. Shooby from E8 obviously getting released. I think he's probably the best pickup that they could have got. So I had high hopes for this roster, and I think it's going through perfectly, especially when you consider that apparently Raven was here as well. Now, I was watching some of this. I saw Raven jump in as the coach, but I wasn't really sure what the ideal was, what the context was. Is Raven actually going to be the coach? Well, according to some of the comments, he is only trialing right now. Nothing is set in stone, but Raven coaching this team is amazing, and I think that this team is going to be seriously damaging. Honestly, as much as I love E8 and as much as I love where all that stuff was, I think Shooby might be in a little bit better of a scenario for himself. Apparently Knoq's got some org secret that he's been holding on to. He's got a big opportunity for these guys. I think it's gonna be great, man. On paper, I think it's gonna be awesome. Dropped, Knoqd, Shooby, and Raven going to a org together that is probably gonna pay well, especially considering Saudi Arabia is getting involved. Maybe it's one of those organizations. Man, this is a great roster on paper, and I think that they're going to have some good success down the line here as well. Now, also to make mention, Furia in 4th place and Dark Zero in 5th place. This is one of the instances, of course, you're not going to see Dark Zero win everything, and that's what I've been trying to say. Now, there is a really important bit of information to add to this, because the Dark Zero that you see in 5th place here is not exactly the same Dark Zero that you saw in 1st place. Just need to go ahead and mention this, because I know I'll get comments about it. Dark Zero from the first block of scrims that got 1st place did in fact have Imperial Howl on it. this block of scrims where they got 5th place had Zainu playing with them as well. So that's the old Dark Zero that you saw from last year. So still very talented team. Of course, no surprise that they got 5th place. But just before people go out and say crazy things, and like you probably have already heard, yes, you know, this isn't the exact same Dark Zero super team that has been talked about the entire time. Just wanted to put that out there. Now, another thing to draw to here was TSM in 8th. Now, TSM obviously has been going through some big identity crisis moments right here, right? You know, Reps is trying to IGL, then Verhulst apparently is going to IGL. They're going to co-IGL together. Who's their third going to be? Looks like it's going to be Zapto and Talmadge. So what's going on with TSM, and what does his former teammate Imperial How think about Verhulst being the IGL? Well, this was quite the clip of controversy. Now, I get what Hal was saying. Obviously, there's a lot that goes in, and I don't think this is personal at all of what Hal was trying to say. But of course, comments out there go crazy. And, you know, Hal just basically said, look, Verhulst has got a long way to go before you just step into the role of an IGL and become successful. So take a look at what Imperial Hal had to say about the TSM roster and where they're going with their IGL.
I think Verhulst could be a good IGL. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't know. Majority of the time when you're trying to have a fragger or a person that has like never IGL'd to become IGLing, it doesn't work. Like, it doesn't happen. So more than likely, I don't expect him to do well at it. And he will take time. Like, people should not expect him to do well in Pro League. I don't know if maybe enough to make LAN, possibly. But it's his first time, so I don't expect him to be fucking, you know, any other top IGLs, like not even close. So he could get there. He'll just need time, and Pro League will be that time where he needs to practice. So
now, of course, with all these roster changes going down, there's still one oddball left out of all of this, which was Snipe down. Of course, he was playing with Skidmark for quite some time. Things didn't go well. Of course, they're going to be still playing the Esports World Cup with one another with Dropped and Shooby. This is before Knoqd got involved, so they already had to do that roster lock, but the roster lock was not set in place for ALGS yet. So Snipe, according to the Competitive Apex Reddit page, this was quite a sad one, honestly, because I do want everybody to stay involved with ALGS. But so he's going to be playing with the Esports World Cup with Dropped and Shooby. If they qual to play the tournament, he will continue to play that tournament with them, but not ALGS Pro League. Now, sadly enough, according to this, he is leaning towards stepping away from comp unless a perfect situation opens up. So the only one he says he could see is if Reptar doesn't work out with Xset or with the Knock and Fun option, then maybe hopefully they'll give him a shot and hopefully things can work out there. But otherwise, he will be streaming, but moving away from competing for other business ventures. A bummer to hear. He's probably moving on, but actually a legendary esports career if this is it. And 07 for Snipe down. Hopefully this isn't the end. I know everyone's got their opinions out there, but I do think Snipe being involved in the scene is nothing but positive for you know, the future of all this. I mean, yes, there's beef out there. Yes, there's stuff to talk about the old FaZe roster. Yes, there's beef with him and Phony, right? Or there's all that tension that went down with the, you know, the FaZe split. I get it. I think that stuff makes for great esports storylines. I think it makes for great LAN events and rivalries, and I don't want to see that exit from the scene. Snipe's been a staple in the esports community for all these years, especially in Apex as well, so don't want to see that go anywhere. But at the end of the day, I guess it is what it is, and decisions have to be made. Also, speaking of decisions, it looks like decisions were made, and because of this, Meat Lovers may no longer be getting back in Pro League. So based upon this, it looks like Skittles is going to be holding that sub spot, and due to that sub spot being held, there's still going to be a retention here of a Pro League spot that was supposed to be opened up for Meat Lovers to get back in. So of course, you guys remember the tweets weeks ago or days ago of Tech basically saying, you know, that's evil smile, the evil grin. It seems like he's back in Pro League. This is good stuff. Of course, yesterday we talked about the rule changes that he was wanting to implement. This is just, you know, it shouldn't be something in the game. Anmu had agreed. What's actually going on? So it sounds like, of course, this means that Meat Lovers wouldn't be in Pro League anymore, and Skittle is possibly being paid to be a sub as of now. And you'll actually see the tweet of how reacting to this, and ZZ from Dark Zero also giving some input on this. A lot of people say this is cheese, and a lot of people say it's not cheese, and that they have every right in the world to do this. So roll the clip and take a look at what they had to say.
Is Meat not in Pro League? I don't see them in the groups.
Yeah,
No, not yet.
every team is like hard to choose their sub spots.
Okay.
They're paying Skittles to stay on after dropping a week
fuck!
ago, and then yeah,
Is this a kimchi
Native
bot?
is doing the same thing.
So let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. And until the next time, we'll see you all later, Gators.